Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Kyle Bauer visits with Joan Ruskamp with the Cattlemen's Beef Board. Then enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean update. Next, Duane Toews catches up with JC Schemper with U.S. Custom Harvesters. Then learn how one producer sizes up the ideal calf. And we'll end with Plain Talk featuring Kyle and Duane.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum. Growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first today, Kyle and Joan Ruskamp discuss two of the Cattlemen's Beef Board campaigns, the Food Waste Challenge and Families in Motion.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I have the opportunity to visit with Joan Ruskamp. She's a beef producer from Nebraska, but also works with the Cattlemen's Beef Board. Tell us about your history and what you do with the Cattlemen's Beef Board.
Sure. Okay, so I'm a cattle feeder from Nebraska. My husband and I have a feedlot, and we grow corn, soybeans, and alfalfa. Have 5 children that are grown and 3 grandchildren. I'm also serving as the current Secretary-Treasurer of the Cattlemen's Beef Board. And really excited about a couple promotions we have going right now, campaigns. We're all about we're consumers also, but we're about informing that consumer and promotion and education and research. So in regards to that, we have the Food Waste Challenge and Families in Motion. We as farmers know that on our farms, we're doing everything we can to cut waste. As a cattle feeder, I keep the ingredients fresh that's going into the cattle, or I store them in a manner that keeps them fresh. Those cattle eat what they're fed. There's no leftovers on the plate, so to say. How do I bring that home to me, the consumer, and our friends, the consumers? We have a 30-day challenge that we encourage people to sign up for that has a tip every single day you receive in your email, and it gives you ways on cutting food waste. In America, we waste about 40% of our food. That's a lot of food. That's a lot of resources that we're wasting. And so what can we do? Well, we can save $2,500 a year by cutting some of that waste. So if it's not enough to think about the resources we're wasting, how about the fact that it's $2,500 more dollars in your pocket? When you buy beef in the grocery store, it's single wrapped. One tip is when you bring it home, if you're going to throw it in the freezer, wrap it again. Put another layer of aluminum foil or saran wrap or butcher paper. Wrap it tight and then put it in the freezer, and then you won't have that freezer burn or what people sometimes see when they leave it in there. When you store things in a refrigerator, store those perishable items where you can see them and use them up before they would get to the point where you don't want to use them. How about recipes? The Beef It's What's for Dinner website has recipes. Maybe you had a roast beef for supper. What can you do in the morning? Maybe you can have a beef breakfast burrito or beef tacos. We can have beef for breakfast as well because then we're getting that protein, zinc, the iron, those B vitamins, and we know flu and cold season is always around and circulating all year round, so we want our immune systems healthy. We have ways with beef to really support the health, and that brings into the Families in Motion campaign. Families are busy and they're running here and there. We want to support family life by providing quick, easy, nutritious recipes that not only nourish those children, but they also are ways you can interact with your children in creating that recipe.
We're visiting with Joan Ruskamp, and she is a beef producer from Nebraska with the Cattlemen's Beef Board. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways, of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego is driven by the spirit of American ingenuity. Come in for a new Chevrolet car, truck, or SUV. If we don't have exactly what you want, we'll find it for you. And we also have a great selection of used cars. We make sure you have an easy, fun, and transparent sales experience that saves you time and money. But if you want high-pressure salesmen and hours spent in the finance office, you'll just have to go elsewhere. Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're making car buying great again.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Donna Menning, Program Manager for Engage Training with the Center for Food Integrity, joins us. And Donna, CFI is offering a new online program called Engage Online. What's the program all about?
The Center for Food Integrity is here to help those in the food system earn consumer trust. And our peer-reviewed and published research shows that communicating with shared values is 3 to 5 times more important to building trust than simply providing information. Now, for those of us in agriculture, and I'm a farmer myself, we know that we need to tell our story. And in fact, the most recent CFI research shows that 80% of consumers want to know more about how their food is produced and what happens on the farm. So Engage training with those in food and agriculture is now available and accessible online, anytime, anywhere. Engage Online is the opportunity to go through this communications training online at your own convenience. It's a series of 5 self-paced training modules with valuable learning exercises, all designed to provide you with a better understanding of today's consumer, because it all starts with the audience, and then equipping and empowering you with the skills to approach conversations and your communication efforts in a whole new way, whether that's in person or online.
And it's amazing to see when you're able to start that conversation with the consumer. If they have questions, being equipped, especially going through this training, is important.
We've had a number of people, and I myself, you think, can I do a communications training program online? I mean, in person, yes, would be much better. You get to role play, you get to ask questions. Well, we had some very talented individuals within agriculture, within colleges, ag communications departments, all be a part of our pilot test. And we took that feedback very seriously so that we could have the best experience for those that want to enroll in the program.
And if people are interested in participating in the Engage Online, what's the best way to do that?
You can learn more about Engage Online through the Center for Food Integrity's website. That website is foodintegrity.org, and look for information about Engage, and then there'll be a link where you can click on and enroll and start your program with Engage Online. Foodintegrity.org.
Donna Menning, Program Manager for Engage Training with the Center for Food Integrity, joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more Farm Factor with Duane Toews and JC Schemper.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Tarwater Farm and Home has been family owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We are having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now Duane and JC Schemper talk about U.S. Custom Harvesters, a group that represents cutting crews on a national level.
Duane Toews joining you once again here on Ag AM in Kansas, and a chance to catch up with the U.S. Custom Harvesters. JC Schemper joins us with the update here on Ag AM. And JC, tell us a little bit about U.S. Custom Harvesters and what they try to accomplish.
Oh, we come here just to represent our organization, and I guess we serve as a link between, farmers and custom harvesters, and we serve, kind of get that lined up between the two, and government, and try to maybe even see if we can find some people here to help us on our crews this year.
We think about the custom harvesting industry, extremely important, particularly in the Central Plains, not nearly as much in the fall crop side, but wheat harvest time through northern Oklahoma, through central and northern Kansas, a pretty big important part of the agricultural industry.
That's true. My personal business starts, around Vernon, Texas, and we work our way all the way up to Montana. So a lot of the crews are up and down the road through there and through the wheat belt of the Central Plains. So yeah, it's a very important part of the way to get the harvesting done.
We think about U.S. Custom Harvesters, and you referenced some of the regulations and things. There are a lot of things that custom harvesters deal with. Explain a few of those and what it means to work with the federal government on some of that.
Well, one thing we got accomplished in the last year is the 81.5 feet of just trailer length, so you can go on ahead and haul that combine with the header behind it legally. And we got that solved in every state through the Midwest here. So right now we're working on 1,000 gallons of fuel, being able to haul that tank without having to have a CDL driver with a hazmat endorsement with placards on that tank. We got that accomplished federally. We're trying to get that done stately. So Kansas has already adopted it. Nebraska's hearing with the 28th. I didn't hear how that went. They should have got that done. Texas has probably got theirs done by now. So we're getting that done in every state so we can all be able to haul our 1,000-gallon fuel tanks legally.
We think about those things kind of on the production side of the business, the labor side as well. A number of custom crews that utilize labor from outside the U.S.
That's correct. H-2A program has been a big program for the custom harvesters, and we're thinking the Trump administration will keep on board with what we've had, and there won't be too many changes. So I'm going to say 80 to 90% of the crews out here on the road are hiring H-2A, so it's very vital to our livelihood to get labor in here. So it's something that's on the back of our minds at all times.
We think about that H-2A program. There are some very strict guidelines. It's not like you bring those individuals in and mistreat them and just milk them for labor. The government has specific requirements to make sure that those individuals are treated fairly as well.
That's correct. The H-2A program, it's not a cheap program by any means. It's an easier way to find labor, but it's a lot more to it with rules and regulations. I personally hire all American people because there's enough farm kids out here, I think, that would still want to do this, and I can still able to find those in different ways. But the H-2A program is not because we don't pay enough or not good to our employees. It's just an easier way to get employees.
All right, thanks to JC Schemper joining us on Ag AM in Kansas, talking about U.S. Custom Harvesters and how they work with custom cutting crews to represent them on a national basis. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Come back after the break and see how one producer judges the ideal calf size.
This is Eric Stonestreet. and as many of you know, I love my home state of Kansas. In March, Kansas ranchers lost homes, equipment, and thousands of cattle from the largest wildfires in the state's history. Imagine losing all you have in a fire. Not just your house, but your livelihood. Ranchers are beginning to rebuild, but it will take years and tens of millions of dollars to build back herds, fences, and other infrastructure. Today, I'm asking you to help. Donate what you can and show your support to the ranchers of Kansas. Simply go to kansasfires.com. Your donation is tax deductible and will go to those who need it the most.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and some thoughts about the ideal calf size.
The problem with bigger cows is they are bigger cows. Annual costs encourage producers to reduce calving problems, not by making cows even bigger, but by selection for calving ease and lower birth weights.
There's a few different causes of calving difficulty. Either the calf's too big or cow's too small, or the presentation or shape of the calf can be an issue. But really the way we've addressed that primarily as an industry is for selecting for lower birth weights. We do now have calving ease as an EPD, and we can select for that as well.
But after decades of selection, some are wondering, has the industry gone too far?
You can lose the calf, you can lose the cow, and if a cow has trouble calving, she doesn't rebreed as fast. So we know that that costs the industry money. But we may not be totally sure what it's costing us if we get them too small. But I think we're there in some places and some herds, especially generation after generation after generation of calving ease and low birth weight genetics. We maybe have, pushed the limit.
Factors like fall calving versus spring or cold weather versus warm and breed makeup will influence the ideal weight.
There are still herds and operations. If you are still losing calves because of calving difficulty and you're pulling half your calves and your average birth weight is well above the industry average, you need to buy a calving ease bull. But if you haven't pulled a calf in a couple years and you have a bunch of little calves that aren't getting up and aren't nursing and you're having some death loss on the little ones, it might be time to think about not putting so much downward pressure on that.
University of Illinois Angus steers showed a linear decrease in pre-weaning death loss as birth weights increased, but the effects could include lifelong performance and even final carcass quality.
We know that early in life is really important for setting the intramuscular fat cells, and so I think that if there is a stress, that's well documented, cattle that aren't healthy as calves, have poor marbling, and it could be related to this calf birth weight and gestation length. I think it's possible that there may be an extreme there where, yes, not only do we affect their growth, but ultimately we've maybe hindered their actual potential to reach their true genetic merit for marbling and for quality as well.
More research is needed to help uncover these relationships, Scheich says. I'm Clint Mefford.
We'll be back right after the break with this week's Plain Talk.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
I'm Rexanne Struve, veterinarian in Western Iowa. I have a veterinary clinic and started doing stem cell therapy on dogs in August of 2014. And after the first 2 dogs, after 3 weeks, I saw such dramatic results. I said, hey, I have arthritis. I have joints, really need this help. Where can I go to get this done? I had stem cell therapy done in November of 2014 on my finger joints, my hip, and the ball of my left foot, all of which I'd had real severe problems with. Saw a pretty dramatic improvement in a short amount of time. I would certainly recommend that somebody don't wait until I'm in the position that I was in with the damage already done to my joints. I encourage veterinarians to use it for their animals, and I encourage anybody who sees this video, if you have need, get in contact with these people because this is a phenomenal place to have this done.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with the distracted Duane Toews.
Well, I was making sure my counter was running.
Oh, you always got to have a counter.
Sometimes
because we get paid by the word.
Get a little bit long-winded.
Exactly.
They can't afford to pay the bill.
Exactly.
Your fact or fiction question of the day, Kyle Bauer. In baseball, home plate got its name because of its pentagonal shape that looks like a house. Fact or fiction?
Well, you know what? You'd think we would have heard that before, and I have not, but that seems more than logical. I'll go with true.
It's false.
Oh, there you go.
The 5-sided shape of home plate was not the game's standard shape until over 55 years after it was first referred to as home plate. So there's no place like home.
There you go, especially if you're trying to run up runs.
Yeah.
Did you know Duane Toews?
I know a lot of things.
Yes, but I don't seem to know any of them with their fact or fiction.
Yeah.
Did you know the saying, God willing and the creek don't rise?
Oh.
Do you know where that came from?
No, but I've used that before.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
you ever lived anywhere that if the creek rose, you couldn't go home or leave?
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too.
If it got high enough, you weren't going in or out. Without a boat.
In fact, one time I left early with a truck to go to Emporia to take beans, and then I was supposed to meet my wife back in Abilene.
Yeah.
And I called her when I left Emporia. This was before the days of cell phones, and I said, I'm leaving Emporia now, so, about an hour if you can pick me up in Abilene. And she said, well, if I can get out, the water's pretty high. And it's like, really? Yeah. I had just left there like 3 hours before that.
Sure.
And it was raining.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any question. And I was like, okay, come on, Flatland girl. Come on, suck it up. You can do it. Well, sure enough, she came and she wasn't very happy about it. And
she got there.
As we got home.
But did you get home?
Like, yeah, but it was like, wow, this water's pretty high.
As it was seeping in
the door. No, it wasn't quite, but still,
yeah,
I was kind of chastised for that one. Back to the creek.
Yes.
Okay, it was written by Benjamin Hawkins in the late 18th century. He was a politician and an Indian diplomat. A little hint there. While in the South, Hawkins was requested by the President of the United States to return to Washington. And in his response, he said, God willing, and the creek don't rise. The creek, of course, was the name of a Indian tribe.
Oh.
And it was capitalized. And so, therefore, it's capitalized. What he meant was,
an Indian uprising.
If there isn't an Indian uprising, I'll be there.
Okay.
So the creek don't rise is about an Indian uprising and has nothing to do with your water level.
With the water in the stream.
Right.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor. We're here every Tuesday on Ag AM in Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.